Now, we can also go back here to the main screen again. I'll press that button right there. We can also go back to sampling, press function, and so input source, and then you hear me right here. I'll turn this over this way. We got our mic inputted into it. And go back to sampling, and go to here. And we'll start the pad. That pad right there, we're processing. And now we're processing the information. We'll make sure our microphone's plugged in properly, of course. And our input is on, see? And our input is on now. We can actually hear myself. We can also we can add effects to the sampler. We can add some sort of effects. You can see that there? I got effects going to my vocals, and I can record these effects with the sampling. I can put this on here, and then we got this little flange on the voice. I can press start, and I'm starting with the flange, and the flange is on the voice. And we've also got in and out. I can go in and out, or take this off, and go back in again, and put it back on. I'll press stop. And now it stopped. So now we've stopped that. That sample now has effects on it. You hear that? We recorded with effects. Turn the effects off here in this part of it. Move the camera back a little bit so you can see what we're talking about. And I'm starting with the flange, and the flange is on the voice. And we also got. So we can take any sample we've got. It could be a beat, a horn, or a vocal from a record, and add some actual effects to it as we record it into our SP606. A very unique feature on the 606. Okay, I got my sample. It's playing straight through now. And I set it up with my BPM sync to match to any BPM I pick. But I gotta do one more thing. I gotta make sure it's a phrase sample, not a single sample. Here's how we do that. Now when it's a phrase sample, it sees it as a phrase. It says, this phrase can be turned into anywhere I want to turn it at any BPM I want to turn it at. Check this out. We're going to press, of course, function, sample parameters, and of course we've got the one-shot set up. That's a good thing. And we've got mount's a good thing here. And the play type, look at that. We'll turn the play type here to phrase. That's what we want to see. We'll press enter and press exit. It's now processing, and I think we're ready to go. So, what we're going to do here now. Whoa, you see that? I got a new tempo. Look at this thing. I got a tempo here of 100. That beats faster than it was before. Did you see that? That's faster than it was before. Look at that. I just went phrase. That's what I did. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, that's funky. Check this out. Now, I'm going to go to here. I don't believe it did that. I'll press BPMs. I'll turn up a little more. Let's see if it really did that or not. I'm not too sure. I'll press enter. Okay, back to where I was at. Whoa, it did it. The beat is moving as fast as the BPMs. I like that feature. Now, I'll go back down here to 0. Okay, enter. We're in that point. And now we're at 100. I like that 100. Nice even number. Now, we can go back to what we did before. We can press record. We'll press record from the top. I got a track selected, track number 2. It's a brand new sequence. So, I think I'll select track number 1. Got my stuff set up here. Got my quantized value. See the quantized value? I'm going to hit that pad one time. So I set my quantized value to quarter note. I'm going to hit it once. I want to fall right dead on that one spot I want to hit it at. On the quarter note. Got me? I'm going to do like maybe a 4 measure. I think I'll keep it simple. I'll do a 2 measure pattern. I think 4 sounds good though. I think I'll keep it 4. I think I have an idea. I think I'll do the 4 and do something else with it. Now, I got my quantized value set. I know my samples right here. Got my 1 measure count. See that I can count it 2 measure counting or 1 measure counting. I'll go with a 1 measure counting. Start. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, it corrected what I did. messed up. See that? Know your quantized value. That's very important. Well, we'll press function. We'll press undo. We'll undo the real-time record. You saw that, right? I did that on purpose so you can figure out what I'm doing. All right, here we go now. We'll press record. We're going to press here, real-time record. We'll press start. 2, 3, 4. That's too fast. See what happens? It put it right where it's supposed to be at. So we can actually set it up, put it in, but my actual quantized resolve corrected if I put it in the wrong spot. That's very important to know. We got a sample in here, of course. Kind of a cool sample, right? But look, what we really want to do now is I want to chop that sample up. The chop function in our SP606. We'll press function, we'll press chop, and now we'll see the pads. We'll see the sample. Look at the sample. There's our sample right there. See our sample right there? That's our waveform of the sample. As you can see here, it says chop level. Now, when it's at 1, we get a lot of different chops. It really fine-tunes the chops. When it's at 10, we get fewer chops. That's how it works. We'll do 1, also chop it. Well, let's press 3, we'll chop it. F3, now it's processing, and it's blinking and doing a whole bunch of blinking things there. Really cute thing. When it's through, we have, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different chops. That's 1. And as we hit them, you see it go to that particular chop. See that? It's a little chop right there. I'll hit a pad, it went to that chop right there. Hit a pad here, went to that chop right there. Now, if I don't like it, you know what I could do? I could press undo. Undo's right there. Right there. Undo, back to the original sample. I can change the chop level. There you go. Maybe I try like 3 this time. I'll press chop. Now processing. And the lights start blinking there. Now we got just 4. See that? See that? And you can see each piece of the sample, the chops we have it here. Now the reason why I like to chop some samples up, because sometimes you never know what part you want to use. You may want to use the beginning or the end. You may chop it up and use one piece on top of the sample itself, along with that sample. This is a really cool feature we have here with our SP606. The ability to chop those samples up. So you may want to use the chops, or use the main sample, or use a piece. That's a bass drum to me. That's just noise. See that? Be part of a little song. It's a little piece you can use to make your production have that little funky flavor. Well, this is how you chop the sounds up. Use anything. Little record, vocals, anything. And once you get a chop you might like, you'll press execute. And then you pick out where you want to put it in the bank. In this case, I'll say bank 8. And I'll say write that chop, all those chops, these pads, all that same bank. I'll press write. And now it's processing. You can see those lights moving around there. And it's processing those sounds and put them in that same bank they should all be in. And it'll put them right there in bank number 8. So take your chops and make a whole bank out of them, a pad bank out of those particular chops you got there. And hey, use them any way you want to use them. And we got them. So I had a beat rolling on, I made a different beat, and I want to use a sample of the beat. I use those chops with the beat also. Or I can go probably, let's say, do another new sequence an empty one, I can probably use, let's go bank. Let's pick out what we want to use from a bank. I go to bank number 1. I'll select that. Right, and that's at 96 now. So I'll go to here, and I think I'll, wait, let's go back to here actually. Let's go to pad bank. We'll go back to bank. Select it. See, make sure select it. See that? That's important. And now I'll make a new track. Of course, it's my new tempo. I'll press start. Now rehearse. You have rehearse there. That's kind of cool. I go to bank, go back to 8 now. My new samples are. Select that. See, these little sounds I got here from the chop. And I can go stuck on rehearse. I can go stop rehearsal. That's for sure. And again, back to rehearsal again. I'll do that like that. See that? So you can add pieces you chopped in from the original sample and chop those chops back in the sample to turn that beat into your own sound. A unique way to use your chop and your original sample. Okay, I've got my samples. I love my samples. I want to save them and keep them. Well, you got to save your data. That's important to do in any kind of music you're doing today, particularly today's machines. So, there's a compact flash card right here, and we stick it right in here. See this here? Make sure it's right, even level. Don't force it in. When I push it in, that little knob, the little thing comes right, come out there, push it back out. You're good to go. All right? But first, we'll look here at the top. Don't push it back out, because we're going to make sure we don't erase no data. We want to get this data cool. Okay, we'll close this. Unformatted, we understand that. Now we're going to press our function and then our card utility button. So we press function, and this pad's a card utility. See that there? And we're going to scroll down now. We'll use our cursor right here, and we want to make sure we format this card first. So we'll press enter. Press F3 to format. All the data on the card will be lost. Are you sure? Well, the card's blank. I want to definitely format that card. Executing. That was quick, right? That was pretty fast. I like that. That cuts it back, saves you time. You can always format your disk first. Don't take your disk out of your SP606 until the power's off. You got that? Okay. Okay, now we've already formatted the card. That sounds good. We'll press exit, okay? We'll press function and card utility again. I want to back up and save the data. I'm going to do a backup save. See that? Now, I'm going to do the backup save. I'm going to press save. Now, I press save. We can save in 4 different backup areas you can see here. Press over. It's 2, it's 3, and it's 4. In this case, we'll use 1. I'll press execute. Now this will start to save all my data that's in the machine to that one card and into the backup 1. See, it's still saving it. So it takes its time. It's going to save it out properly. It's now executing. Keep power on, it says right there. It's going to save the samples that I have in here. the patterns, the parameters where the patterns are. Everything I did is going to be saved to that simple one compact flash card. Now once I've backed up my data, I like to load it up to make sure I've got it there, because it's important. You don't want to lose what you just recorded. You're going to make sure it's proper, and you'll make sure it loads up right. So I'll press function, I'll press 10, of course, card. I want to load the backup. I'll press load, F2. And I'll say load 1, sure, execute. And now it's loading up the backup data. It's very simple. So you want to first format that compact flash card. Next, you want to save a backup. Pick a backup area to save to, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Once it's been saved, then of course, you want to check it and make sure it's right. It's important. And sometimes, you save the song, and you say to yourself, well, that song was bad. It was just whack. I hate that song now. I'm tired of hearing it. Let me get rid of it. I'll press function. I'll press disk again. I'll go back here. I'll say delete it. Okay, I think it's right. Let's delete it. Okay, do it. Load? Nah, cancel that. We want to delete it. Go right back there. Delete that backup data. We can press execute and delete the backup data. Very simple and to the point. Now we can also go back here to our menu right here. And you're going to see here a menu got a system right there, right? And of course we can go on the D-beam. We showed you system. Move the cursor down again. And we've got our pad protection. We'll press enter. And here we have protection for our pads. If we want to protect a bunch of sounds within this, we can just go back here and we'll go to the top and we'll press protect and a lock will appear there. See that? I'll go back down here to this one and I'll press protect and a lock will appear there. Down to here and here. And I'm protecting my banks that I want to keep. So in case I turn it off or something and turn it back on, I'll keep these banks so they'll be there for me to use later on. So we're sort of protecting our sound library from being recorded over or erased from the system. It's very important to try and do that. Now I also go to menu again here, and we'll go right back down here to 4, and I'll press enter, and here we can take in USB audio or USB MIDI. There's a new thing now in music, we use USB MIDI or USB audio, and they can be done right here. As you can see there, input on, right there. Output source, input, see that? You can change the source of those things. Let's exit. We can press menu again, and we have USB mass storage. And here we can connect the USB cable and go right back to our computer and load and store WAV files. And put WAV files right back in on our SP606 and load them into banks and make up our own banks with these same sounds. We can exit that. We'll press menu and scroll back down again. And we can be in the master volume. Let's press enter. And we can change the master volume. We can press play, and I can change this master volume any way I want to change it. I can bring it down. See? My master volume is controlled right there in my SP606. And we can press enter and exit and right back to where we started from our pattern play mode. Now sometimes I'm making a beat up and I don't exactly know what I'm gonna do. I'm not too sure. What am I gonna do? I don't know. Hey, what am I gonna do? I have no idea. What I'll do sometimes is I go to record, of course, play, start. I'll press F2 just to rehearse. Final sound. I want to hit maybe. And that way I can rehearse before I actually record something into the pattern. Now, as you saw right there, I tried to record something. Wasn't too sure, I tried to rehearse. Now, I'm pretty sure you notice how it canceled out. This is very important right here. That's why I'm doing this. I'll press here. I'll press play, Start. Just want to practice. See, I'm pressing pads. It won't come in each time. It's sort of stopping because track 1 is filled. I can't add anything else to that track. It's important to realize you can probably add up to 2 sounds. They're in stereo, so be careful of that. So what I'll do is I'll press record. I'll go to here. And right here in the top of my menus, you'll see on this page, it says track 1. Right there it says track 1. I'll turn my data wheel. I think I'm actually going to track 2. And make sure we do go to track 2. So we'll go to here, we'll press this, and we'll select track 2. And now we got track 2. I can press this, it's going to be in track 3 or 4. Now I want to record on track 2. And I can record something, watch this. I want to rehearse though. See, it's still cutting off. We have too many sounds. So it's important to realize that you are limited by the amount of sounds you can actually have with our SP606 in stereo. Make sure you plan your sounds out properly. You can up to 8 sounds. But you're going to make sure you probably put 2 on each pad. That makes it, or each track rather, makes it much easier for you to get around and to add as many notes as possible. This way you can make a much more diverse pattern. Like the patterns you hear that are actually the patterns they have in the machine. And some of our preset patterns, for example, right here. Right here, you hear this part's going out here, and we'll have, let's say this one part here play. This is kick drum. One part is on that track. There's 2 sounds on that track. Snare hits. Hi-hats on that one track right there. Turn that off, turn this track on. And we didn't hear anything on that track at all, do we? I don't hear anything yet. But it could be a long sequence. But it really isn't, just a 4-bar sequence. So, be careful about the amount of sounds you use within your sequence. It's very important. Otherwise, they'll cancel out, and you won't have the right amount of sounds that you need for the full polyphony of the machine. Well, the unique thing also of having our samples like that, you can go to BPM here, and we're at 96. I'll go back to the top, press play start. Turn my BPMs down. So we got little samples, little chop pieces in this little part here. Make it faster, you want to make it faster. And that's the beauty of making sure the samples are actually in that phrase rather than being a single sample. We can also add effects to the overall track with our MF effects here exactly. And we can go here to effects, for example, and we've got effects 1. And I can take effects 1, move my cursor down here. Actually, let's flip it here. There's reverb, here's a delay. Now here in the delay, I've got it set here for quarter note, as you can see. Now the quarter note is right there. I'll move in so you can see better. Let's look and see what's going on here. Here's our quarter note right there. See that? That's our quarter note delay. I'll press play. Now I'll press MFX1. See? I'll press X1 here. And it'll move in. You'll see that. That is MFX1. I'll press play. See that? It's a quarter note. Down, 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 down. So it's every quarter note it plays. So we can add effects to the overall pad bank that we assign to that particular effect. And we have a list of effects right here. We've got a list, and a list of effects we can have tape echo, we can select that. Here's a tape echo. I can go to here. And we go back to delay. We can adjust that delay right here. This knob corresponds to that setting, this knob to this setting, and this to this setting. And we can adjust those settings. For example, like here in delay, if I move the first knob, you see that move there? It changes the note value right here. That changes the note value. See that? That's reading a half note now. Now it's reading a whole note, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. That length, it'll hold it for that length. I'll press play. Watch this. See? Now stop it again. Now I'll move it back now, and now we'll use a half note. Top again, and see that? I'll press stop, and now I'll move it back again, and we'll use, let's see, a quarter note. See that? I'll turn it back in. We can go back to an eighth note. You can also control the feedback setting. And this is the feedback right here. The middle button. And we also got the, see that? That's dry, nothing at all. And now I'm putting any more to it. That's the effect level. This is the effect level, this is the feedback, this is the dry. And they correspond to the same knobs right here. I'll turn that one off. That's effect. How it normally sounds. And we can add these effects to our pad banks. We can have two effects. I can press here for 2, and now we have 2. I'll zoom in here a little closer. You'll see it says MFX2. I can press 1, and it says MFX1. See? When I press 2, it's 2. Take off that and press 1, put 1 back on, I'm on 1. So be sure of where you are when you are using your effects, your MFX effects. Now here I can put this flanger on. Now listen to it. So we can have 2 effects happening simultaneously at the same time. That's 2 effects. That's MFX1 and MFX2. We also have our master effects. You can see we've got master right here. 3, we'll press master. And here in our master, we can split frequency. We have our in level. We have our low attack. We have a list of actual things we can do with the master. This is a user set. We have a low compression, standard, standard 2, 3, high compression. The 8 different mastering output levels here. And you can press it, just say select right here. And we'll press play. Turn the effect off there. You get more of this here. Of the low attack, as you can see. You can adjust your settings. We can get a low release. We're going to threshold level. And we can write that. It's okay, stop. You may want to write that to it for those parameters. We'll press execute. And we'll play it back. We'll play it back here and see what we got here. Let me move this camera around so I get a little better view. That's a little better right there. Yeah. And you'll see. We'll press play. So get a little lower, more lower overall threshold, low attack. And we can say, okay, we don't want that. We'll go to here. We'll go to a list of stuff. And we'll select this. So we can adjust our output and make sure the mastering out has a good, strong, steady feel to it. And we can even do the in-level dB here. We got splits, of course, we said before. So you can get a decent sound of what you're trying to actually get for your system. And so well, I'm going to try something to get a little stronger, a little better than what it is before. We'll select this, you can write it in. Yep. And we get our mastering effects locked into our system. Now next I want to talk about our system parameters. This is very important. We'll go to menu. Now here in menu, you've seen this before, we saw it earlier. I will press enter and we have our system parameters here. We have our metronome, the contrast, the sampling grade. We have our preload protection there for our preloaded patterns. Go back to menu again. Go to exit. Menu. We have D-beam, and we'll press enter. Now D-beam stands for this little thing on the side here. This is our D-beam right here. There's a beam here, and you cut it off, and it triggers the sound. We can set the triggering. We can say here, okay, we'll pick a pad that'll trigger. We'll say pad 3 or pad 1, and you'll hear that pad trigger. Or we can pick latch or momentary, excuse me, for that pad. So that velocity also for that same pad. And we'll press enter. And see, you'll hit that screen there. If we can find an actual pad, let's go to pad bank. I think it's on pad bank 15. Let's go up here. We'll go to pad bank 2, and I'll press select. Got that? See that? I move my hand, and it triggers the actual sample there. So I can do that with that particular sound. I can maybe go back to, let's see, we can go to record actually. And do it here. Get a blank sequence. I think it's 2. So that's kind of out of sync there, but we can actually trigger the sound within the sequence. I don't like it, so I'll press function undo, of course, and we'll undo what we just did. Go back to the top, and it's out of there. Okay, so we're in pattern mode. We can go press our song in the sequences section, song button right there. And now we're in song mode. Now in song mode, we can select several patterns to make up one song. We'll press the record button, and as you can see there, it says empty right there. And I can turn the data wheel and select the pattern I want to put there. We'll say pattern 44. I can press this button here and go to the next pattern. And I may want to put pattern 45 there, the next pattern. Go to here, next pattern, I can put, let's say, 46. Go to here again, next pattern, select the pattern you want to put, anywhere you want to put in this song, and you're good to go. 47. And we'll select that one. That's good. Now I can go back to the song again. Here, I can press enter and see the list. And you also set the list out and pick what I want to pick, which pattern from which list. I say, okay, it's a list of patterns I have. I can pick that out. I can say select it, and I'm in. We'll exit that, exit this. Of course, we're hearing song. We'll press stop, and the process is done. And we're still hearing songs you can see right there. And we'll list the songs too. You go to list right there. See that? I can exit that, of course. And we'll press play. Now it's playing for the top of the song. See, it's playing different patterns, and this is on there. Went back, another pattern right there, hip hop pattern beginning. And it can play those patterns. Of course, it's a little weird right there, but I did this on purpose so you can see the patterns will change. They'll be in the same BPM. So of course, it says here's 96, so they'll all be 96, no matter what pattern I pick in to put in there in that song form, it'll all be 96. So this way, when you make up that song form, each pattern conforms to the same tempo. You can say, okay, we got our patterns lined up, we got this song hooked up here, and we like it. We can get rid of a pattern. So we can insert a pattern, press F1, and insert a pattern right there. See, insert again? Insert again right there. See, I'm inserting patterns? Or I can go back here and say, oh, I'll select a different pattern. This one here, delete that pattern. And so we can delete, and we can insert patterns right into the song if you'd like to. As you can see right there. I can go up here again and press insert. I'm inserting a step. Insert again another step. See that? I can keep inserting whatever I want to insert within the song form. Now, just like in patterns, the same function of deleting the entire song. We can go back here to song, we can go back to exit, and run song. We go to edit, and we're here again. We'll press function, and by holding down function, we have two different commands. We either copy this whole song, or delete the whole song. I'll press delete, and we're going to delete the song. I'll go to here, press execute, and the song has been deleted. So that's somewhat the same way as pattern mode does, except we can actually just add patterns in. We're not making up sequences, or patterns rather. We're taking patterns and putting them into a whole sequence, which is actually called a song.